10:43 p.m. Thursday, 6/25/2020. This video, I'm going to talk about just a few brief things. The next wild card coming on the scene, or card played, depending on whichever the case may be, would be this here, this Saharan dust storm. I'm going to play this in a second, and I'll play another one related to this, and then I'll play one that shows the hype about wave 2 is coming. What I wanted to say about this is that it's very strange, interesting, odd, coincidental that this dust storm, actually there's two of them. Uno, dos. Maybe there's going to be more. We don't know. On the heels of what's going on with this respiratory illnesses situation, COVID, and now with the opening, and now saying that this wave is it's coming back. Alarm, red alert. So it is odd that this is happening now. So what is this going to have? What kind of effect is this going to have, even if it's just being utilized or taken advantage of? What do I mean? Well, you'll see as I play this, the entire region of the United States that this is going to affect. And again, it's going to be two of these, and who knows, maybe there would be 3 or 4 or what have you. And so what's that going to do? Then it would be like, oh, now the whole country is having major problems, and we don't know what it is. It's from the dust, and then they need to be tested. Oh no, but they have COVID now, because of the test drew everyone in to get tested, because so many people are now coming in with these respiratory problems from the dust. Or is it the dust? Is it the pandemic? Is it the dust, pandemic, dust? Which one is it? Again, not that this will have that effect, but I could just see it as a card being played here, or a wild card. What do I mean by a card being played? Well, I don't know. It just seems kind of weird to me. I'll just leave it at that. I mean, let me put it this way. I tried to look up any kind of apparatuses to, let's say, undulate dust with gigantic fans. I don't know. I'm just saying, call me a dreamer. But if you know where I'm going with this, it's just very odd that something like this massive, is coming in right on the heels, right in the midst of this respiratory crisis, the COVID, situation, right when they're sounding the crazy alarm alert again, that this is coming back. So we'll see how this plays out now. It just seems too coincidental for me. Well, I got that all out in one breath, but that's what I wanted to say about that. Let's just listen to what he has to say. All right. Oh, I have to put the microphone in my headset, so hold on a second. We're real high tech here. All right, here we go. Ready? Oh, hold on, I think that's not very loud. Oh yeah, okay. Sorry. Now where am I here? Okay. Here we go.
In the atmosphere refract the sun's rays and bend those rays like a prism, and so that's going to be a nice effect for us. Here are the dust plumes right now. Let me just kind of give you the lay of the land. Here's Africa right here, here's South America, and here's the United States. Now we have one plume that's over the Caribbean right now. We have a second plume that is now moving off the continent there of Africa. And keep in mind, this is not unusual. It happens every June and July. Those are the prime months. And this is just noteworthy this
It's
year
not
because of the
unusual.
size of these plumes. Now, I want to highlight the island of Dominica is right there. I have a colleague, Farah Roque Carrere, who is a meteorologist there. She forwarded me a couple of photos to show you the impact. So take a look at this. This is first a comparison, a photograph taken from the same spot. The one on the left just shows normal blue skies. The one on the right, look at the dust in the air there. That is just extraordinary. And also, when she went out to check the rain gauge, look at what happens to the rain. It is brown rain because you're carrying all that dust down with the rain. All right, let's get back to the weather computer, and I'm going to show you where this is going. Now, keep in mind that this particular dust plume, the one that's over the Caribbean right now, it's heading up toward the Gulf Coast, and we have a jet stream right now that's kind of like this. So if it stayed like that, this would be shunted off to the east. However, over the weekend, it's going to be more like this. And so the dust plume will be allowed to move northward. So take a look on the computer model right here. Watch this. It's going to come northward, and it's going to come over us over the weekend. So if we can clear out the skies, we would have a very nice sunrise and sunset out of the deal through the weekend into perhaps early next week.
I don't know, that looks like an awful lot of dust, if you ask me. All right, where am I here? Got to go out of this. This is the, no, yeah, I just did that one. Okay. I don't know, look at the size of that. Look at the size of this dust area. Let me pull that up again. Oh, sorry, I can't do that. I wanted to show that right there. That hit New Orleans. Okay, so anyway, bear with me. I'm trying to coordinate this. Get out of this somehow. Got all these squares going. I never did this like this before. Well, I did, but I'm trying to get used to it. So we did that one. Here's a second one. Let's pull this one up. I'm just going to go through this and let it play, and I'll like fast forward it or whatever if they start talking about. We should. All right, hold on. Here we go. We're going to talk about the Arctic or whatever, 100 degrees in the Arctic. I think so. Two things here, but
in Climate
the dust.
Watch, there is not one but two unusual weather events impacting the planet this week. The first is the migration of a major dust cloud from the Sahara across the Atlantic Ocean. That is expected to hit the United States by the end of the week. The second is a remarkable heat wave in the Arctic, with temperatures as high as 100.4 degrees Fahrenheit. For more, CBS News meteorologist and climate specialist Jeff Berardelli joins me now. Jeff, these sound incredible. Let's start with, this dust storm, because this is something that is coming at a time when the United States and the rest of the world is dealing with this coronavirus pandemic. Texas is already dealing with an increase in coronavirus cases, and now it's likely to get hit by what some are calling the Godzilla Sahara dust cloud. What can people in Texas expect to see this weekend?
Okay, Elaine, to give you some perspective here, I worked in Florida for about 2 decades or so. This is the largest dust cloud that I've ever seen moving across the Caribbean. Some say it's the worst that we've seen in 50 years. So visibilities are incredibly reduced. The before and after pictures across the Caribbean are incredible, and we have an article on cbsnews.com that you can check out those before and after photos. So this is really reducing the air quality, in some cases less than a half a mile visibility. And this poses respiratory concerns, not only in the Caribbean, but as you mentioned, it's headed towards Texas. And of course, Texas has a very high incidence right now of COVID-19. And so this is coincident. It's happening at the same time. We have this big dust plume moving into Texas at the same time when their cases are going up. Obviously, when you have that much dust, it can compromise people's respiratory systems. And of course, COVID-19 goes for people's respiratory systems. So we're concerned about that. It will get there on Thursday. It'll be thickest on Friday and Saturday, and then begin to move out on Sunday. But as it moves out, It's going to be making kind of a right hook, moving through basically all of the southeast and most of the middle Atlantic states. Even parts of the Tennessee and southern Ohio Valley are going to see effects of this. And by the way, most of these dust plumes tend to kind of dilute and disperse a little bit. This one does not look like it's going to do so very much. So conditions are real bad in the Caribbean, and they're not going to be much better once this reaches Atlanta, Birmingham, Nashville, Charlotte, North Carolina, and into Richmond, Virginia, and probably Washington, D.C. as well.
Yeah, I was looking at some of those pictures during my preparation time. It's remarkable to see the difference just a few days as this cloud is moving over. What about this is especially unusual, Jeff? Is this related to climate change?
No, it likely is not related to climate change. Actually, there's one study that shows that dust may actually decrease in the future because climate change will probably weaken the...
Found that. Hold on a second. All right, I'm getting out of this, and then there's one more to play. Before I do that, let me just continue for a second on the thought that, like I said, it doesn't seem like a coincidence for whatever reason. Very strange. Again, another thing. I keep saying this. You turn your head and something else is happening, right? I mean, incredible, so incredible stuff that's happening. One thing seems to subside, something else comes, and then that other thing re-emerges or takes a different form. You get this feeling like things are just going to start accelerating and snowballing, and really, really starting to happen, toward the rapture here, really, really crazy. Anyway, let me play this, and then any other thoughts I have, I'll finish that up. I hope this is on. Did I turn it on? Yeah, I guess it's going. This is just a report. Again, it says that the White House is planning for the second wave. All right, let me play this. Put it in my headphones. All right, here we go with this.
This morning, new cases of COVID-19 breaking records nationwide. As states scramble to contain the first wave of the virus, White House advisors admitting they're now planning for another wave come fall.
You prepare for what can possibly happen. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but of course you prepare.
Nationwide, 26 states have seen an increase in cases over the last 14 days. 7 of those states seeing a spike of 100% or more new cases. Florida reporting more than 1,000 positive tests daily for 13 days straight. And on Saturday, California set a record for its highest daily count since the pandemic started, with more than 4,000 new cases. In Texas, both Austin and San Antonio are now 2 of the top 5 hotspots in the country. Texas health officials partially blaming the rise on gatherings at beaches, rivers, graduation parties, and bars. Video showing crowds packed inside local pubs led the state's Alcohol and Beverage Commission to revoke permits for 7 bars as part of Operation Safe Open. Both North Carolina and Texas seeing a surge in hospitalizations over the weekend too. Nurses from Colorado heading to Arizona to help with rising cases in hospitals there.
They traveled from Phoenix to Colorado to help us, and so when the need arose, it was kind of a no-brainer.
In Florida, a disturbing new trend.
Our cases are shifting in a radical direction younger.
Governor Ron DeSantis announcing new plans to step up social distancing in the state's bars and nightclubs.
Younger.
While the mayor of Miami delaying phase 3 of reopening in his county. Elsewhere, small steps towards getting back to normal. This week, Baltimore, Maryland, Massachusetts, and D.C. allowing diners to move indoors to eat at restaurants. And this morning in New York City, the former epicenter of the virus, entering phase 2. An estimated 300,000 people now able to go back to work and enjoy outdoor dining too.
I think hopefully eating outside will help people feel safe, which is obviously most important.
And here in Texas, despite the rise in cases, Governor Greg Abbott saying the state still has a surplus of available hospital beds. And in Florida, Governor Ron DeSantis saying it's not just increased testing that's behind this recent spike.
All right, so you heard it. Hold on a second. Take that off again. My point was going to be that they're making out toward the children, right? That's what they had just said. So you could see the writing on the wall, in my opinion, what's going on here. Get out of there. Right? You know what I'm saying? Now they're saying it's watch out for the kids. This is going to hit the kids, and once that happens, hopefully, oh boy. See how this is falling in, all fitting together now with the fall, with the kids going back to school. If things even reach that point safely, or now it seems like, again, what I'm saying here. Look at this Saharan dust storm, right? Right in the midst of all this, you could just almost predict what's going to happen. I mean, not for sure, but the writing is on the wall. You could almost see the near future here of how this could play out. You know, everything is coming together with the new surge. Oh no, now we have this big dust thing, and it's such a worse time because it affects people's respiration. And there's another dust storm after that, and maybe more after that. And what could possibly be the result of this? Maybe not much, but just very strange how this is all playing out here. This thing come out of nowhere. Sort of they played it down. I mean, it doesn't seem to me just like, oh, it's something, rare. It seems more than that. It's like, what in the world? This is like a judgment or a plague or whatever you want to call it, a loosening of, pardon me. You know what I'm saying? Then we have the other wild cards that's been thrown out there in the media about because things are opening too soon, people aren't social distancing, and also the riots, as I done a video on, Fauci saying that it's a seeding event for another wave, a seeding event. So all these things, they've been saying these are seeding events, things that are probably going to contribute to a second wave because of what I just mentioned. And again, now on top of all this, with this dust storm, and now it's everywhere. There's sudden surges. Hospitals are being overwhelmed. It's all being played up again. The cases are going crazy now. So this is what's happening, okay? Or I should say, in what is being portrayed to be happening. But as I said in another video, if you didn't hear me say this, that it doesn't matter if it's, real or not, because the narrative becomes the truth. The narrative becomes the reality regardless. And this rioting or whatever protest thing, that seemed to sort of vanish into thin air. What a surprise, seemingly. But this, I don't want to say likely, but could or should or would pop its head up, and we don't know how this is going to come into play also, even though there seems to be a truce or a lull in that. Political things, political chaos, coming election soon, election year, scapegoating, international military tension, Middle East tensions. I could probably name other stuff going on. Well, there's major earthquakes, comets likely causing that. I won't go further with that. And volcanoes, whatever else there is that I didn't mention. I've just been getting the feeling in the air lately. It's really striking me. It's like everything's dead. Like there's no action. People are just, I don't know. Are they working? I don't know. But it just seems like the whole air is just empty. Like no one is around. They're just maybe, I don't know They're in their house. They have to be. Where else could they be? Just sitting there waiting. That's the kind of feeling, like watching the situation just slowly go down to nothing, dying. So, the society, that type of thing, where it's like the end, the feeling, it's like the end. People are just waiting. There's nothing, just, that kind of feeling going on. You don't even see anyone. This is my experience here. I mean, I do, but not a lot. But it's like the thing, they're just waiting. They're just away, out of the way. You don't see anyone. You know what I'm saying? It's just no one around, really quiet, waiting for whatever. No one knows what's about to hit. That's the thing. Again, that reminds me of what Jesus said, like in the days of Noah, they didn't know, what was going to happen, and the flood came and took them all away. So that's what I'm trying to say here. It's like people are waiting. They're not doing anything. They're just stuck inside. You don't see anyone. It's totally like dead, And if this starts up again with all of this, and then with the economy, people are waiting, walking on eggshells, I guess, anticipating, hoping that things would be normal again. The world, life would turn to normal. And all the things I described here, where this seems to be heading, that doesn't seem likely. So there's a lot of things with that going on, with society, with jobs, with money, with how are people going to react? What are they going to do? The situation with food, there's a moth, and all these other things going on. So I found this calendar. I don't know if it has any significance, or I just saw this online or whatever. It says leaked rest of 2020 calendar, but yeah, where did it come from? But anyway, it has interesting. I don't know when this was created or whatever. As you can see here, it has other things. Who knows what? Let me put it this way: there's just things on here that are very possible. Just to mention them, to see them, regardless of the months or anything. And let's just go over this a second. People are expecting this. There's a lot of talk of CME and solar flare. Yellowstone erupting. There's a lot going on there. There's been total earthquakes. That's been rumbling really bad in the west. The west. The fault zones. This says alien invasion, and then pandemic again, an asteroid. I mean, this looks like, regardless of the times or the date or the months, these things look like they're on the horizon in one way or another. Whenever they happen, if they happen before, whatever, if they're going to be part of the judgment, and we won't be here. But this is very, very interesting anyway. So maybe we'll be gone. I always said that, I don't know, I just always had the feeling right here, October, and they plan to have all this done with the shot, with the vaccines and testing and everything, through here. We're here, we're here already. We're just around the corner, basically, but we don't know how any of this will play out, but it definitely seems like this is happening. This is starting again. If any of these other things happen, but the biggie here would be, the Rapture, which they're showing. Of course, it would be faked alien invasion at the same time. Anyway, I just thought it was an interesting thing to look at, regardless of what, what is being said here and the months. All right, let me get out of this and forget about that. All right, so I think a good word for all of this, what's happening, is momentum. It seems like momentum is starting to build again, okay? Like this has been a transition into this year, going into all these things, and this seems to be very much starting here, very strong sense. Things are going on, and if this comes about again with the emergency red alert with the dust and with the new cases and everything, and overload it, and we opened too soon and didn't social distance, and the riotings were a seating event. You could just see the possibilities here, and it's not going to take very long for this to start, combining, gelling, congealing together, as one picture, as events move in that direction, okay? And of course, what the goal is to get people to get tested, all right? And this would drive hordes, clamoring to get tested. Not only tested, but what's the next step, as we're saying here? All the things, the videos I did and others, Event 201, ID 2020, Agenda 2020, Operation Lockstep, Veritas, Operation Warp Speed, and there's more. So I don't think there's very much time left, and I'm sure just about everyone out there feels the same way. It's just absolutely amazing. Deep down, I'm sensing this. Things are happening. I mean, what else can I say? It's just inside of me about all of this. This is happening. This is in the process of happening, and we're there, So really, there shouldn't be very much time left. Now we have the 4th of July coming up, Independence Day. Many are sort of looking toward that and saying that's a prime opportunity politically, and to, go against this government, overthrow. What a perfect timing of that. So we don't know, but we're heading to the 4th of July. What is it, the 25th? Yeah, it's like 9 days away. Not that anything specifically would happen on that day, but that's, planetary alignment on that day. All of them lined up on one side of the sun all together. There's a lot of strange things. Oh, then there's that, what is it, I don't know if I had this running, if I turned it off, but I'm going to repeat it again. I said the 4th of July, then I talked about the planets aligning together at the same time, political things going on, possibly on that day too, or around that day. And then the buck moon, or the buck, whatever it is. Yeah, I guess that's what it's called. So other significance to that others are considering with these things that may have been telegraphed and encoded in certain things, media. It does seem that very much does happen, although trying to, interpret it is a totally different story. But as far as the rapture itself goes, all you could do is just wait. That's all there is to it, and always has been. Again, Jesus said, in a moment that you do not think, he will appear, he will come, he will return. So, like a thief in the night, he said. Okay, earlier tonight, the sky was beautiful. Just as after it went down and going down, it was glowing orange and large. It's so strange because most of the times it's much smaller and white. So there's definitely some aberration and reasons. I'm not going to get into that here, why this is so, but I rarely see that And it's so beautiful when you see the real sun, or whatever you want to term it. When you see that image, that large, glowing, beautiful orange, and then the sky was orange, not pink, but orange. It was beautiful. And then to the northwest, it was pink. It was pink in other areas. And this morning, before sunrise, I happened to be awake because I didn't get to sleep. And like in literally years, I haven't been able to be awake to be outside to see before the sunrise. And it was beautiful pink to the north and northeast on the clouds and sort of and otherwhere in the sky. But I haven't seen any of those other objects that I did videos on, 2 weeks ago or whatever. I haven't seen that. And I still see people everywhere completely silent, no words whatsoever when they shop in any store or outside. Nothing. People say nothing. And they all have masks. So it's the Twilight Zone, really. Very similar to a Twilight Zone episode or movie going on. And very, very rarely does someone say to me, you have to wear a mask, or especially, get testy about it a little bit. It's happened a few times, but really most of the times at all, I just walk around in and out of places without any mask. Everyone else has it on. They have all these signs up, by executive order or whatever from, the law is you must wear a mask and all this. No, it didn't say executive order, but you know what I'm saying, state. But, yeah, things can't go on much longer for all different reasons. And like I'm saying here with stores and businesses, they're just hanging on by their chin, whatever you want to call it, chinny chin chin, by whisker, to stay open. And how long could that go on? How long could the economy go on? How long could the food situation go on? People not working, not having jobs, in debt and everything. And then this is seeming like it's all being brought back again, phase 2. So it's going to be a very interesting couple of weeks here, maybe very dramatic and eventful and telltale of where things are heading. Things are shut down. I think that's the word, shut down. Everything. They're not around. Things are just closed. They're slowly dying. And just about most out there have no clue. And that's why it's important to get information out there. That's why I do these videos again, so that others can understand what is going on, and then also prophetically, and hopefully they'll catch on, and they'll believe before it's too late, or at least if they won't believe now, they'll know later. So if you can, try to share any information that's out there that anyone has with others that you know, because we're heading into this, the world and this country and everything is heading right into this storm, and it's coming, and it's close, and it's starting. It's going to start up again, and that's where it's all heading, toward the tribulation, toward the chip, being chipped with the mark of the beast, which believers will not be here for, at least the ones who are saved now, but then others will have to go through this who later believe.